Hello and welcome. You join me, ADG, for race 5 of the Mature Racing Club Gran Turismo Touring Car Championship, held in the Group 4 cars. And here we are. And this week's first race of the two half-an-hour races is held at Kyoto Driving Park, Yamagawa. And we'll quickly go through the qualifying order. There's a 20-minute qualifying session that goes into these positions, so bear that in mind. A bit of hard work from everyone to get into the positions they're in. So we'll quickly go through the field. Edwin starting in first after a really good qualifying session in the Honda NSX. Ginger Crackhead in second in the Honda NSX. Third is ADG123 in the Honda as well. Has 91 is in the BMW in fourth. Mutt 36 is in fifth position in the BMW also. Seawinkle finds himself in sixth in the Mustang. Robust the Hood is in 7th in the BMW as well. MRC CJW is in 8th in the BMW. Ajax is in 9th in the Corvette. Bales Tonovic is in 10th in the Marlboro liveried GTR. Rocky Rich is also in the Nissan GTR in 11th, and 12th is Mini 975 in the Hyundai. So without much further ado, we'll skip to the top and we'll get the race underway. As we watch back from the first place sitter, Edwin. So we see a good start from pretty much everyone. No one really gets a jump on anyone. And we head away onto lap 1. Edwin doing a decent enough job to keep the lead into T1 in front of Ginger Crackhead. But we see Mutt and Has a bit further behind, going side by side. Looking back to them now. Running it side by side through that tricky section, so it looks like Has lost out a little bit, made contact with Bales Tonovic, and he's ended up hitting the wall a couple of times and dropped right back because of that. Just an unfortunate place to end up running side by side, but again we see Has taking a bad line into there. Further back I'm looking, and he's dropped back a few places, so unfortunate start for Has there. But looking to the front, we've got me in first place after CJW, who basically drove into the side of Edwin at the start and managed to push each other wide and just open up the position for me to take first place. So I jump into first on lap 1 with Edwin following closely behind, and then we've got Mutt in third now, Seawinkle in fourth, CJW in fifth, and Robert the Hood in sixth. See Seawinkle diving down the inside into fourth, or keeping his position should I say, in fourth, as we see a bit of a moment up front from me and Edwin. I made a little bit of contact. I did the wrong thing here really. I backed out to let Edwin come back past because I made contact, and then it ended up bunching everyone up into one corner, with the result being Seawinkle pulling out a little bit from the exit and tapping CJW as he's trying to come past. So that's lost CJW a load of pace down the long straight. Robert the Hood just gets a chance to try dive down the inside, which he does so, and gets himself up into fifth place. You see further ahead I'm running side by side with Seawinkle, managed to just pull ahead of him into third, so I've dropped from first into third in that lap. And a couple of position changes for other people as well. So we've got Ajax being closely followed by Has 91, giving him a bit of grief right on his bumper. And then we've got Mini 975 made his way up from 12th place into 9th at the moment. Bales Tonovic in 10th, Rocky Rich in 11th, and Ginger Crackhead unfortunately had a bad moment on the first lap and found himself dropping into 12th place. But we'll keep an eye on Ginger Crackhead. He does a good job of coming back into the race. So we'll skip back up. We've got Has 91 getting a good run on Ajax as they come through the technical little chicane section, which is quite fast but hard to hit fast and consistently. Looking for the chance to dive down the inside, but they both go a little bit deep into there, so no real advantage on the exit. But Has gets a decent exit saying that, and nearly runs it side by side with Ajax. Anyway, we'll skip back up to the front as we've got Mutt 36 in the lead, Edwin on the outside as I dive to the inside and try and challenge both of them for the lead. And we've got Seawinkle right behind us battling away as well, so I managed to take one position off Edwin there to get myself back up into second ahead. I'm looking to the inside now to try and get past Mutt. Dive to the inside and managed to get it done, just keeping the apex as well, so hugging the line to make sure that Mutt doesn't have a chance to come back at me mid-corner. I managed to get myself back up into first place, so that was a good couple of corners for me there. Mutt slowly gets back on it and gets right back on my bumper though, so I have to go defensive into here. Me down the inside, Mutt on the outside, trying to get the cutback line, but I have to hug the inside line to make sure they couldn't get the cutback, and managed to retain my first place for the time being. So really good racing going on for the first couple of laps of this race. At the front, Edwin with Seawinkle right behind him now, and Robert the Hood in 5th place, looking to get further up into the race. CJW doing a good job. Drop back a little bit now from Robust, but holding out to Ajax as we watch and go closely through the corners. Believe it or not, I've actually done this replay already, but didn't actually record my my commentary, so I've had to do it again. Mini Knight and 975 now has dropped to the back. Unfortunately, had a bit of a mistake. He found himself in 9th place a lap ago, but he's made a little bit of a mistake and dropped back, so it's unfortunate, but that's the way it goes sometimes. So we've got Haz, Ajax and CJW pretty close together, and then we've got the group at the front with Robert the Hood, Seawinkle, and the 3 of us right at the front is Edwin, Mutt and me in the lead at the moment. But really good battle this was. So when I actually managed to get into this position, I managed to keep first place for more than one corner. Mutt was just right on my tail the whole time, and I kept an eye on the gap and kept an eye on him to see where he was, and I never managed to pull more than a second of a gap on him. So it was relentless through this race. I had no chance to relax, even though that's how it should be when you're in first place. It's good when you have to battle for it the whole race. It's not just a given and you get to drive away. You see Edwin now getting tempted to dive down the inside, but thinks better of it, so just pulls him behind on Mutt and keeps his 3rd place. But he gets a good run with an opposite line to Mutt there for a good run out. So they run side by side through this fast section, and then have to get hard on the brakes to get turned into the tight left-hander. So Mutt doing a really good job and running side by side with me now for the exit, looking for first place as he dives down the inside. Anyway, I could watch this race all day long. I need to keep everyone else involved as well, but as you can see, it's a good battle going on for first place, and we'll keep popping back to that. Again, we've got Ajax up into 6th with CJW attempting to get past him, which he does a nice job of on the inside. Just gets a better exit out of the last corner down the start finish straight and gets into 6th place, but Ajax has got the slipstream, looking for the inside line into T1. Let's see what he can do. CJW on the outside now, finds himself compromised by Ajax on the inside. Manages to run the nice line though, but Ajax gets the position back and gets 6th place again. So good racing going on in the midfield. Very good stuff. Good clean racing as well, respectful of each other and giving each other a bit of room. If you're interested, I think CJW streams his races as well, so go check him out on YouTube. He's got a channel on YouTube where he's got quite a bit of content to do with these races, so go check it out if you haven't already. Has 91 in 8th place, doing a good job, but just struggling to make up that time to make his way further up the field. Ginger Crackhead was in 12th place at one point, so after lap 1, so he's doing a good job to get himself up into 9th, and we see him just whiz past Haz there, as Haz has a little bit of a mistake, and Ajax, and yep, you see Ginger Crackhead just making up even more positions now, up into 7th place, as Ajax and Haz definitely have a bit of a moment together, but we missed it a little bit there. And Bale's on a bit, makes advantage of that as well, and he finds himself in 9th. Couldn't quite follow Ginger Crackhead all the way through to 8th place, but as we see Ajax in even with a 1.1 second penalty, so he'll have to lose that, and it'll mean that Bale Stonovic gets to inherit the place up into 8th place. So good close racing going on with the guys in the midfield. CJW now just finds himself a little bit were a gap in front of him and behind after that lap. He's got Ginger Crackhead trying to catch him up slowly but surely, but he's got a pressure-free section to the race for the time being. Seawinkle's right on the back as it looks like it all gets a bit scrappy through there. Edwin hits the wall, so I'm not sure if there a little bit of contact between those two there, but all looked a little bit scrappy, but doing a good job to keep it going without too much of an incident. And Seawinkle sticks it in 5th place still, and Edwin's battling away to try and catch Robus the Hood, which has now made his way up into 3rd, so really good job from Robus, as we see week in, week out. Starting, not always starting the highest in these races, but getting his race on, and then just putting those consistent laps in basically, and making his way through the field. So doing a good job to find himself in 3rd with 6 laps gone and nearly 10 minutes, so nearly a third of the way through the race. You see Mutt still right on the back of me, just to keep the context going for the lead. It was never easy to keep that 1st place. And especially now Robus is coming into the race, and Edwin's certainly trying to make his way back towards the front again. Seawinkle doing a really good job of just keeping with Edwin and keeping in touch with the top guys. Got a bit of a gap between these guys now, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th, all running with a little bit of a gap between them, so if there's a mistake that happens, they might have a chance to make a place up or catch up a little bit, but at the moment they've got a bit of work to do to catch up to the guys in front. And then unfortunately see Rocky Rich down in 11th place, driving around on his own, Mini 975 doing a similar thing towards the back. Still full credit to you guys though, a lot of people just end up quitting the leagues if they're running around towards the back on their own. And I've done it myself plenty of times, and it's not the most fun, but there you go. That's racing. You have good and bad races at the end of the day. This happened to be a particularly good race for us guys at the front, but certainly had plenty of bad races in my time, and full credit to you for sticking with it. And no doubt if you have that attitude and keep sticking with it every week, then you'll get faster and faster basically, and you'll find yourself climbing up the table and being involved in more and more racing towards the front as the season goes on. It's the attitude that you've got to have, is just stick with it and learn from your mistakes, try and get more consistent, and you'll find yourself crawling up the table slowly but surely. So skipping through the field, just trying to keep an eye on the action. Looks like in the background we've got Bale, Stonovic and Haz incredibly close. Bale currently in 8th position and Haz in 9th. He's doing his best to put the pressure on. But if we skip back up to the guys in front, I hope I'm giving some kind of perspective to the whole race and not just the race going on at the front. That's why I keep skipping up and trying to keep some kind of context to it all. We've still got the same positions going on up front, but it's all closing up a little bit, so Edwin's getting closer and closer to Robus, and Robus is getting, he's got a similar kind of gap actually to when we last dropped in and checked up on them. But Edwin's really pushing now to catch the back of Robus. You can see pushing that little bit later on the brakes and pushing into the corners, carrying that bit more speed. Sat well and truly in Robus' slipstream now as well, so he gets a chance to catch up down the straights. But the BMW and the NSX on this track in particular seemed really quite evenly matched. It didn't seem like there was a much difference down the straights or between the cars. So Robus doing a really good job keeping it going and just keeping those laps clean to make sure you don't have any mistakes and drop any time to Edwin. We're all doing a similar thing up front. There was quite a bit of pressure from all of us. As soon as you made a tiny little error, you knew you were heading backwards, so you had to try and be fast but error free. And it's not the easiest track to do it on. There's a few tricky corners throughout this track that are quite tricky to get the braking right and the line right without getting a corner cut or anything. We've got Edwin challenging for the inside line past Robus, but can't quite manage to carry that little bit more speed through the mid corner to get there on the exit, so has to follow him up the hill as they run over the curbs. tricky section to follow closely through, but it's good if you get it right. You can make up a bit of time through there. You see me up front just running a little bit wide, and Mutt doing the same as well. So both losing a little bit of time to rob us through there. Luckily it's not too long a straight coming out of that corner, so we have a little moment there from Edwin as he goes into the back of Roberts the Hood, catches him out a little bit with a braking into the tight chicane. But no harm done, no damage on, and it all just ends up resolving itself naturally as he got hit in a straight line, so there was no big moment there for Roberts. It's just probably panicked him a little bit as he realised Edwin was a bit closer than he thought. And Edwin getting away with it as well, so no big deal, but just getting caught out on the brakes there by the look of it, Edwin. Ginger Crackhead now up into 6th, doing a really good job. Again, I'll just remind you that Ginger Crackhead found himself down in 12th position at the end of lap 1, so bear that in mind as you see him climb up the order. He's doing a good job of the consistent laps as well, if you look. So just keeps putting those laps in and keeps getting closer and closer to the guys ahead. CJW doing a good job of sticking with it as well, and just dropped off Ginger Crackhead a little bit as he's got past him, but still within touching distance. One little mistake and he's back up there. See what's going on towards the back. A bit of a gap between everyone now, so we'll stick with the action towards the front. I hope you don't mind. Do try and cover as much action as possible wherever it is in the field, but if there's not a lot going on, I'm not just going to watch individual people go around on their own, I'm afraid. It's for you to do that on your own replays. But good consistent crew we've got going on in League 3 here, so it's good to see that people are turning up every week and sticking with it, even if they're not quite getting the results they might have expected, or whatever, or they've had a bad race, or whatever might have happened, some contact they thought was unjust. But it's good to see that we've got a good solid group that keeps turning up week in, week out, and yeah, we all seem to be good, clean, respectful racers with a good bit of pace amongst us. It's good to have a good league to keep attending every week and looking forward to it, most importantly, not dreading it because it seems like a bit of a chore by the end. That's certainly my personal opinion anyway. So we'll skip up again and see what the gap's like towards the front. We've got Edwin that's dropped off. Looks like he's made a little bit of a mistake somewhere and dropped off the back of Robus. Robus is still roughly about the same gap to Mutt in front, and I've gained a tiny little gap over Mutt now with a couple of car lengths between us, just to keep checking in and seeing what's going on. Ginger Crackhead, we can see, is slowly reeling in. Seawinkle in front in 5th position, so he's just got a few more laps to keep it steady and consistent and fast, and he'll find himself catching up to the back of Seawinkle's bumper, in which case he will be able to start thinking about going for an overtake somewhere. So we've got Bale now chasing CJW, and CJW unfortunately finds himself with a 2-second penalty to lose somewhere along the track, so he needs to get that lost and quite quickly, as we see him just pull over to the left hand side and start losing it there. So good decision to try and lose it as quickly as possible there from CJW. It loses in positions obviously, so he's lost 2 positions there to Bale, Stonovic and Haas, but it's the right thing to do, and now he can just concentrate on trying to catch up to the back of Haas and get himself back in the race, see if he can make a few positions up. Still more than 10 minutes left of the race, so the race isn't over between these guys, and it's good, clean, close racing towards the end. Like I say, I've already watched this through and done a full replay video, but I for some reason it never recorded my mic, which I've never had before, so I was absolutely fuming when I watched it back, and I'd already started uploading it to YouTube as well. Watched it back and then thought, what the hell? There's no intro, no nothing. Anyway, we joined Ginger Crackhead at the right time. Looks like he was tempted to go for an inside line down the inside of Seawinkle there, but thought better of it. It was too far back, so he's looking for a good clean overtake, not risking any contact. Ginger Crackhead is actually the brother of Robus the Hood as well, so he's trying to get up to his teammate, not teammate, his brother, sorry, I've just said it, I don't know why I got that wrong. A little bit of competition between the brothers, obviously, as there naturally would be whilst you're in the same league racing. So Ginger Crackhead looking for the inside this time round, getting the job done nicely. Don't think there was contact there, but it looks like there was actually, because it looks like he slowed down a little bit on the exit to give Seawinkle the run on the exit. To be fair, it looked like Ginger Crackhead probably did cause a little bit of contact there, because definitely slowed down on the exit to give Seawinkle a place back. So good respectful racing, even though he made the mistake. He apologised in the right way, which you can do instantly without having to say anything to anyone, by just giving them the position back if you think it was a bit of a bad move. Anyway, so Ginger Crackhead finds himself dropped back a little bit off Seawinkle now, as he made that mistake, but still doing a good job, and he just has to do it all over again, catch him up and attempt for that 5th place. So Edwin's right on the back of Robus. Edwin, we can see on lap 12, has done the fastest lap of the race between anyone, so he's caught right back up to the Robus again, and he's looking for the inside line as they head side by side almost into the entry into that fast left-hander. Again, Robus going to the inside to defend, but then forcing Edwin slightly to the outside without any contact, but just good, solid, aggressive defensive move. So it's good to see that the guys in these places battling away at the top are plenty aware of what's going on, and if they get squeezed out, they know they have to lift off. There's no trying to rub your way past on the outside or anything. It's all genuine defensive driving when it comes to racing that's this close. If we look back, there's a massive gap now to Seawinkle, so Edwin's done a really good job, like I say, over the last couple of laps to pull away from Seawinkle and get back onto the back of Robus, and now he's not too far off first place again. We'll skip back up to Mutt, see what the gap's like. So a little bit of a gap again, a few car lengths between us as I run a little bit wide into T1, so Mutt actually closes up a lot on the exit there as we head up through the fast flat out section through these curbs, really fast chicanes you could call them, I suppose. Anyway, again we'll skip back down, see what's going on. Bales Tonovic and CJW were pretty close together. Looks like Ginger Crackhead's pulled away again from Bale, and he's catching up Seawinkle nicely. Oh, we join Has 91 and CJW as there was a tiny sound of contact there, but nothing major, as they were swerving all over the place going down the straight by the look of it, battling for the inside line into the corner, crucially. So unfortunately we watch we watch CJW from Haz's perspective as he gets it a little bit wide on the exit, touches the curb and maybe even the grass a little bit, and loses the rear end. Loads of oversteer, too much to catch, and sends it flying over to the left hand side of the track and puts himself in the wall. So really unfortunate to catch that from CJW, but that's how it goes in these races. You've got to be quite on it to actually keep yourself going and try and climb up the order through these races. So it's always a risk. Putting one wheel wide is enough to ruin your race basically, and unfortunately that's what we saw there from CJW. Not completely ruined, finds himself in 10th place, not right at the back, but it's certainly ruined that section of the race for him, as there's only 7 minutes left. So it's the little end section coming up really to try and push for that extra position. Anyway, we all have these moments, and I'm sure we'll catch moments like that from everyone throughout the season. No one's perfect. Seawinkle now finds himself in 6th position, so I've missed the overtake there from Ginger Crackhead, but Ginger Crackhead has closed in on him quite quickly. I think Seawinkle must have had a little bit of a mistake, and Ginger Crackhead's just got past and up into 5th, so be happy about that. And like I say, he's not too far away from his brother now, in 4th position. He can't see him on track, but he knows that he's the guy ahead, so that'll spur him on even more, Ginger Crackhead, to be able to push that bit more and try and catch his, his brother ahead. Robust now in 4th position after fighting away in 3rd and doing a really good job of keeping it going in 3rd position for most of the race. Now finds himself overtaken by Edwin. I've missed most of the overtakes here. I didn't want to just watch the action at the front, I wanted to give everyone a fair shout. But finds himself in 4th position now. There's Robust after Edwin's made a good move somewhere along the way and got himself going up into 3rd, and he's also pulling a gap and catching Mutt in 2nd place now as well, so Edwin's not out of the race yet. So we'll stick with Mutt for a lap to actually give it some kind of perspective of the pace we were running at the front. It wasn't easy to keep in front of him. Ooh, having a little bit of understeer there, so having to lift a little bit on the exit, compromising a little bit of a run down here, down the hill section. And then that's about the trickiest corner on the track in my opinion. Getting through there with any kind of speed and momentum is not easy lap after lap. It's alright doing a fast lap every now and again in qualifying and getting that lap in that you wanted, but doing it lap after lap for a full race is quite difficult. So we see Mutt closing up massively through there on the exit and giving me lots of pressure through here, which again is a really tricky corner. It's so easy to run wide, it's slightly off camber and it just seems to chuck you out wide on the exit. So I go defensive because I'm concerned Mutt's close enough to have a dive to the inside, so hold that inside line to make sure that he can't do it. And it's a good lap we've just watched there from Mutt, so good example of a good fast lap round here. You can see that gap now coming down slightly to his brother in front, Robust. I'm sure there's some competitive discussions that go on between those two after the races, especially if there's a bit of contact between them or anything like that. Seawinkle has dropped a little bit of a gap now to Ginger, but he's still doing a good job and doing a grand job of retaining 6th place at the moment, with no one behind him to worry him or panic him. Bale has pulled a nice gap away from Haz now, and Ajax has dropped right back in 9th place. CJW trying his best to get back into the race towards the end after that mistake we saw not so long back. And Rocky Rich running his own race as well as Mini 975 in 12th place, just to check in on everyone again and keep an eye on the action, see what's going on. So not many position changes now as we get further and further into the race. I'm going to be honest, I'm just going to stick with Edwin for the next couple of laps because it gets quite interesting towards the end. So he's got a good perspective on obviously Edwin's laps, and Mutt chasing me in 1st place up in front. We can keep an eye on what's going on there as well. So at this point in the race I've had pressure pretty much the whole way through after I've managed to keep it in 1st place for quite a long time from Mutt, and he's been on the rear bumper the whole time pretty much, and as he's got closer and closer through certain corners he's forced me to defend, and I've managed to get away with defending and kept the inside line so he couldn't get past, and it's been a real battle the whole way through, so I hope that's kind of come across. It's a really good race, and not every race ends up being this good right to the finish line. As we see Mutt challenging again to try and get past me, taking a different line to me, trying to run a slightly wider exit to carry the speed. going for the inside line early as Mutt, but I go for the defensive line, cut him off, so he has to cut back to the outside and try and take the corner normally. Again, he's aware that we're running out of laps, so he's trying his hardest to get everything out of the car and try every move that he can think of to try and get past. Again, I do a bit of a late dive there, to be fair, to defend first position, but Mutt has no choice but to cut back to an outside line and try and carry the speed on the exit. And all the time this battle's going on in front between me and Mutt, this is just bringing Edwin back into the race, so he's getting closer and closer, as we can see. So unfortunately I'm not going to skip down and cover everyone towards the end now, but I do apologise for that. But this is a really good end that's about to happen. So I think we're pretty much heading on to the last lap as we go over the line onto lap 19 now. So this is the last lap, bear in mind, and we're going to skip up to Mutt. So you see me having a massive moment of oversteer and understeer at the same time, more or less, as I drift it wide into T1. So Mutt just drives past me, manages to take first place, so we'll skip back down to me now. Well, in fact, we'll go back to Edwin. So I do my best to just chase Mutt as closely as possible. Now I realise I've lost first position on the last lap. And then with a really brave line and outside line, Edwin just chucks it down the outside, but what that does just gives him an ultimate drive out of the corner, and he just manages to drive past me basically on the exit. I can't really dive down the inside of this corner and expect a clean overtake, so I have to just drop in behind him, and on the last lap I managed to go from first place to third. But all I can say is credit to Mutt and Edwin. Really good racing, really good run out of there from Edwin to take second place off me, and really good overtake into T1 from Mutt, as I just had a little bit of a moment, typically on the last lap, and not enough time to find my way back, but I had a little bit of a moment, and that was enough for Mutt to get past me. So really good lap between us guys, and full credit to you guys for the full race. It was an absolute brilliant race, and yeah, didn't quite know what was going to happen all the way to the line. So we see the last corner, Edwin actually gets a really good run, gets the slipstream on Mutt, pulls to the side, and actually just about to the line gets first place. Mutt comes in third, ADG in third, Mutt comes in second even, ADG in third, Robust the Hood in fourth, Ginger Crackhead second, his brother even in fifth. Oh, I've messed it up on the finish. Seawinkle in sixth, Bales Tonovic coming over the line in seventh in the GTR. Ajax follows him not far behind in eighth position. Good race between those guys. They had a bit of good battle going on between them at one point. Has 91 in ninth. CJW unfortunately had a bit of a mistake with about 10 minutes to go to drop him into 10th, and then we have Rocky Rich and Mini 975 in 12th. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that's recorded and you can actually hear everything, and if you haven't already and you want to, stick with me, so subscribe, and that way you'll get a notification when I put a new video up. And I'll be doing race 2 as well, which is at St. Croix, the reverse grid race, which is on the same night as this race that you've just watched. So thank you very much for sticking with me. Subscribe if you haven't, if you don't mind. It just helps me out and my channel out, and give us a like if you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching. I've been ADG, and hopefully see you again soon. Take care.